Zach.
Hey Zach, hello. Good evening.
Hello. Yeah. Hey, you have nice couple of action figures behind you. I can see Hulk and couple of nice and the Groot.
Loki, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So how it's going?
How are you doing? Doing
Good.
great.
So
So, how are you?
we visited today. So there's a new convention hall opened in Wellington. Um, so they are hosting a event from the Brickman, right? The Lego. Uh,
Mhm. Yep.
yeah. So basically, a couple of his nice structures which built by Lego
Mhm.
and Lego bricks, and this all about dinosaurs, Jurassic World and Jurassic
Mhm.
Park. Yeah, cool. It's really nice. Like it's really nice. I think you remember Blue from the Jurassic World. The
Yes.
Blue's huge figure is that's very nice, amazing, hard work.
You just went into a Legoland Jurassic Park.
It's kind of like that. It's a 1 hour tour. It's like a kind of a tour. You have to go through several places inside that
Mhm.
convention hall. Is it in one floor? But it's really nice. We had to build a couple of our own ideas and some small figures using the.
Mhm.
There are like couple of places that you can find these all the basic Lego bricks. You can build
Okay.
things inside as well. It's nice. Yeah, cool. So, since we are talking about the New Zealand, we have a super awesome announcement to make, which is basically AWS Community New Zealand. So,
Wow.
yes,
So, when is this happening? Where is it
this is
happening?
on this year. We are going to host for the first time. I'm just gonna put the link here.
Mhm.
Yes, so it's aws-community-day.nz.
Mhm.
So we are going to host in this coming September. It's the Wednesday, 6th of Wednesday, a public trust hall Wellington. So anyone want to do a speak, or if you're kind enough to do a sponsorship for the event, please feel free to go to this link, and you can find all the links in that the website, and you can register for a speak. Zach, also you also can do it if you want.
Awesome.
If you can
Are
travel
there
this far.
any virtual slots available?
No, this is going to be an in-person one.
Okay.
So yeah, and the registrations there is a small charge as like 25 New Zealand dollars. So it's not a free event because we thought of going in that way, and we are going to give away some awesome swag pack as well.
Mm.
Cool. That's all
Awesome.
about. Cool. Sorry,
Yeah,
that's all about from my end. So what's going on with you, Zach?
yeah. So we at Freshworks we are hosting our second developer summit next week or this week, and it's on June 21st in Bangalore. So, yeah, we do have Bhuvana and Vivek as part of the panelists. So yeah, exciting times.
Yeah, Vivek is really enthusiastic. He's really energetic. I really love his work as well. We should invite him for one of our show one day. It's going to be fun.
Yes.
And belated birthday to Zach,
Thank you,
14th of
Zach.
June. And by the way, I'm a June baby as well. So this week, 21st, it's my birthday. Yep. So
We're
it's really
just
nice to have
days
June
apart.
babies. I think everything is coincidence. Yes, nice.
Yes.
So let's go to the today's topic. So I think with the topic I already put in the title, you can see. And the best part, I was struggling to find a perfect topic. You know how I managed to get the topic title, Zach, today?
Mhm.
It's ChatGPT.
Ah,
so I
so what
asked,
did you ask
so I
GPT?
asked to generate a good a title for a podcast. Those
Mhm.
awesome dudes are doing serverless and monolith. How to choose your correct architecture. So it's gave me a couple of nice answers. So this is one of it. I think it's really nice. I think I'm really loving using day to day, the chat GPT for my day-to-day stuff. I think it's cool, but I don't suggest, like, if you're writing an article and you just copy from, there's no point. But using that, these kind of things is really helpful. You to, give some nice ideas and stuff. Yeah, cool. So we
Yep.
have got.
So ChatGPT is always good to ideate ideas, not generate and build on those ideas. So yeah.
You should know better, rather. I mean, like, you can get some ideas of ideas, yes, but you should know very well about what you're gonna ask, and because it can give you like false information as well. um, and should not copy and paste. Please make sure it should be your original work as well. Yeah, cool. So when I see serverless, it's about you, what, Zach, because you're the serverless hero, serverless guy, serverless. So
Yes, and the Prime Video blog kind of makes my heart cry. So yeah, but yeah, with the whole decision with respect to going which way, of course, be coming from the whole serverless architect itself. Of course, at times we have taken stands telling that hey, we have to choose what's right for the use case rather than telling hey, what's trending in the world. Like, for instance, talk about getting a new title, you ask ChatGPT, suits well. But getting a whole podcast content out of GPT, not the right way. So, yeah.
and I have I, I have noticed, like, because this happened, like, sorry, a couple of months ago, and I have seen that
Back in
so many
March.
people are talking about this, and I think, according to the feedback which I noticed
Mhm,
in Twitter and mostly LinkedIn, most people even have not went through the original document which published by Prime. They are not trying to even understand. They are arguing why. I saw this post. Someone is arguing that even Amazon is not using AWS Lambdas, then why other customers to ask use it? So I don't agree with that, because before you come to a conclusion, you have to go through that document thoroughly and try to understand what the Amazon Prime monitoring team is trying to achieve for the observability platform, right? So
mhm,
it's not even. Uh, it's sad, really sad that now these days people are trying to write articles and trying to be show off that, right, to prove something wrong and right. I think rather wrong and right. According to me, I learned this from my colleagues, and one of my awesome colleague. He always says this:
mhm.
there's no such thing as best practices. You
Okay.
make the best practices according to your organization and according to you what you need. So you cannot just, okay, for example, Freshwork is doing something or something in serverless. That doesn't mean I can implement the same thing in my organization. It's never going to work. So yeah.
Yep. Most often people try to force fit into things, right? Because they hear success stories about, hey, this is going to work the best way. It's going to scale. It's going to be low cost, all of these things. And people often forget that what are they trying to solve, and uh, often they try to force fit a lot of these things into their architecture components, right? So be it like for somebody lambda functions working really well, for somebody it may be step functions, for somebody it may be ec2 instances, for somebody it may be eks. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I really like that you mentioned what and why. So always, when you are doing the requirement engineering, you should always focus on both question, what and why. And I have seen always people are more keen to use the what rather than why. A couple of years ago, I think, there was a requirement for kind of freelance thing. They wanted to install WordPress inside a Kubernetes cluster, and they even need some service mesh like Istio. So
Okay.
this happened to me and my another couple of other friends, and we ask why you need. Okay, you need to run WordPress, and why you need Kubernetes. So everyone thinks that new technology you should always adapt, but it doesn't mean, even their containers are there, doesn't mean you have to be containerize your application, right? Maybe you can use, if I'm not wrong, Beanstalk,
Yep.
or
lead stock, or
Yeah, even
if
hosted
it's a
WordPress
low
is
weight
fine.
thing,
It's a low
yeah,
weight
if
thing,
it's
yeah.
low weight thing, you could even use light sale, right?
Light sale,
So
yes, and consistently you can pay monthly $5 or $10 is fine.
correct.
Even you can go for hosted services like WordPress. It comes with a built-in service, right? Like hosted one, or any other hosted. There are so many platforms. I don't want to mention names, but there are cloud vendors that they give even it's including a WAF SSL certificates free, and you pay for like small, yeah. Rather you manage your entire infrastructure, and tomorrow Kubernetes 1.27 is coming up, and you have to upgrade again, and why you have to struggle? Yeah.
Yeah. So people often think that going with the trending way would be the right choice, but what happens is that maybe they have quick wins, but in a very longer run, right, it's going to hit the architecture. And I guess that's what happened with Prime, right? Where initially it was on Lambda, then there was scalability and cost issues. So people started questioning why this, and that's actually when you try to understand, like, hey, is this really a best fit for me? And when you're trying to do all of these things, most often when you don't take the right decisions at the right time, it becomes a tech debt, right? And people will be like, hey, this is running, let us not touch it. And often, I mean, in a very long run, it just becomes that piece of code or that piece of the solution which is so ancient or so unknown. It just becomes that nobody wants to touch it, and nobody wants to take any initiatives to revamp or anything. So it just becomes a waste of the whole cost of building the whole thing. And for what use, right?
Yeah, that's totally agree with that. Yeah, there are two sides, right? Even though if you're running a monolith application, and if you're not trying to evolve with the not new technologies, but you're evolved with the sustainability and extendability of that product or the application, you should be evolving it. But it doesn't mean, again, you can be monolith fine, but keep your, for example, the OS updated. Keep your code
Yep.
base updated. Try to upgrade uh, the the platform versions and the source code versions, plugin versions, whatever. Keep to update. But again, doesn't mean that okay, we have this awesome Kubernetes or like any container platform that you're not upgrading. No, and try to should understand what serverless can solve, what problems can serverless solve, and what can't actually. So sometimes serverless cannot solve all the problems in the world, but
Yes.
certain things it can solve definitely. It's really awesome, and there are successful stories that people migrated to serverless. Then it's you can see there are so many when it comes to the AWS bill, there are so many um, um, wins in the
Yes.
cost optimization. And the same time, if you are using, like, for example, step functions for, like, for something that which is not going to help you in the cost side, yes, it's going to be, you're going to spend a lot. And I think, Zach, have you seen this a famous article? This guy written about they never upgrade to the cloud. Rather than that, they set up their own data, like the data center, the bare metal servers.
Okay.
And there is a nice comparison that this person is showing that, okay, for our use case, for their use case, cloud is not the answer, and they went with their own bare metal. It's fine. Still, people are using those kind of things, right? Um, in their data centers. So, like Zach mentioned, please beware of their tech debt and choose the right one you want to know. And I think Zach is already having a couple of nice examples to share as well.
Yeah. So just when Prime launched this blog, right, I went through the blog and did a couple of understanding of why they changed it, because you go and often these blogs come out in the US time, and me based in India, it's going to be somewhere in my middle of the night that the blog comes live, and I have no clue about, and half the tech world would be talking about it, right? So when I just open my social medias or any Slack channels or stuff like that, right? The first thing that I saw is Prime Video is moving to moving out of serverless to monoliths, and I was like, what? Why? Why are they doing this? But when I actually read the blog, I understood, hey, this is a good decision that they took, right? Because most often, uh, even as me in my past, right, we at that time we do choose for one of the good solutions, but maybe as the requirements changed, or however the solution scaled up, or we had different other solutions coming into the picture, we had to revamp things or probably upgrade to things. So most of the times the decision is, should we do it or should we not do it, or should we uh, revamp our whole architecture, build it ground up, or should we just say use a solution and bear with the limitations of whatever the solution offers. So often at times uh, startups do go with solutions because maybe it's a good way for them, because the resources are not there to build it. But when you're talking about a very large enterprise, what happens is that you might want to build a lot of things ground up, and when you're doing it, you're using a lot of these underhood services, be it on AWS or any other cloud, right? And when you're doing that, you need to understand what those specific services offer. What are the limitations? Uh, is is the limitation okay to live with or not? And okay to live with is a uh, very broad question, because oftentimes maybe for somebody it is okay to live with, for somebody it is not at all. So it all boils down to the percept about what you're trying to solve, how you're trying to solve, right? So yeah, that's the link which
That's a link, right? Yeah.
Prime, yeah,
Yeah,
Prime
that's the
published.
original post from Primes. And yeah, I would like to add a few things for as well, Zach, for that. Yeah, always what we are trying to do is problem solving, right? That's the idea. What we're trying to solve real time problems. So it doesn't matter how you're doing it, but you have to do it in a proper manner, like. And another famous question always, most of the people ask me that, okay, Zach, I want to uh, deploy application to AWS. So from the question, can you understand, Zach, like how broad? I want to deploy an application to AWS. So I
Yeah,
always narrow down, okay, what type of application, whether mobile application or PW application or a BFF, what is it? And according to that only I can decide, okay, which is the most suitable things for them, for the business. And for example, is a static website. Easy way is like put in S3 and set up the CDN, the CloudFront. Simple. And same thing used to do. Get a server, install Nginx or Apache, and if you need a script, install PHP or something. Set up the SSL certs. So totally different stories, and different way, different people can install. If you're a JavaScript application, Amplify Studio is there, right? So
yeah.
it's really easy, it's really nice. And while you're talking about Amplify, I think we should do a session about that one day. I really love to uh, do that one as well. So just a note. While I was talking, I just think about that. And
Add it to to do.
yeah,
So, yeah.
you like Amplify, right?
Yes. So I've used, in fact, most of the web apps that I'm hosting is using Amplify
Oh,
hosting itself. So yeah, yeah. So most often people tend to what do you call that, when you're trying to complicate things for a simple solution, but you try to make simple things for a complicated use
yeah.
case, right? So
Why
I've heard
making things
folks,
very complicated, right?
yeah. So I've heard folks who have actually set up a web server on EC2 to host their static website, which easily could be done on S3, right?
Oh,
Uh,
really? Wow. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
definitely. It's very easy. And if someone is wondering how to do it, don't worry about it. Just go to the Code Catalyst, Amazon Code Catalyst, the new tool,
Yes.
and within simple few clicks, you can just host your first static website in
Mhm.
AWS. So it's very simple. You can do it, but it's a basic setup. Uh, Later on, you can understand how to set up your own DNS names and certain things. So I host my portfolio in the AWS 3. And Zach, did you notice that recently I relaunch and kind of retouch my portfolio? I found a nice framework called
Astrobuild.
Astro
Yeah.
Build. Is made for the web performance, if I'm not wrong,
Yep.
mainly into web performance. It's really fast. It's nice. And while we're talking about these things, I think I should share another awesome blog, which is done by our awesome Zach.
Yes, that's the one I was talking about earlier, right?
Yeah,
Where, uh, of course, we think about why did Prime change it. So there are a couple of thoughts around me resonating with the same decision that Prime took, and of course, being the serverless guy, it hurts,
yeah.
but yeah, that's
Oh,
something
kind of a
that's
betrayal,
acceptable. Yeah, like heart broken.
When I saw the post from originally Prime Videos, the first person came to mind is you. I was like, oh, Zach's going to be very sad. Then I went through the original article. Then I realized, oh, it's not bad as they mentioned, but yeah, cool.
Yeah, and they choose serverless first, so I'm happy with that at least. So, I mean, often
Yeah,
at times, serverless first solution is the way to go, but not always.
any tools, not all. Even Kubernetes. I'm a big fan of right. I do a lot of. I
Yes.
love containers, especially Kubernetes. But sometimes it's not the right tool for you. I mean, you could try something else. If you're especially in AWS ecosystem and your entire ecosystem is if it's AWS, I would choose personally. This is my personal opinion. Like I would choose ECS rather than EKS.
Mhm.
If you're in totally AWS ecosystem, it's really awesome and very easy to manage. Like if you're totally in the AWS ecosystem, but if you want to cloud agnostic way, if you need multiple vendors, like then fine, go for a case. It again, right? See, again, it depends on the requirement. So I have worked in both uh, tools, but it's again depends. I can't say this is my favorite. It's like you have like 5 kids. So someone asking who is your favorite kid, you cannot say who's favorite kid, something like that.
Absolutely.
Yes. Cool. So I think that's all about it today. And we thought of keep our chats very short according to our feedback. We love to get feedback. So um, we are not going to go for like a 1 hour session unless there's a hands-on lab or which that you can follow with us. But really sorry about the time zones because me and Zach's like far away, and I know even though very less people are watching live, but I know according to our stat, people are watching after the video is published to YouTube. You can go to the channel and you can check the live videos and the videos there. You can check. So cool. So before we wrap it up, Zach, you have anything to say?
Yeah. So about the duration, right? Aren't we also going based on our requirements? So suiting what's best for the podcast itself. So yeah, that's a key takeaway.
Yeah, as a DevOps enabler, I love feedback. So I we work according to the feedback. So if you get more feedback, if someone asks this show is stupid, please close it. Yeah, then we have to close it. Before we close it, we have to figure it out why people dislike it. So yeah,
Yes.
we need to improve it. So that's why. And we are not doing this for any um, anything else. Just we are doing for fun, and we love to share with our community and try to build the next generation. Okay, then we can see you all with another Zach show.
Yes, and before we wrap it up,
Hmm.
happy birthday, Zach, in advance, no, but happy
Yeah,
birthday.
yeah. So happy birthday, Zach Caswell. So it's really really coincidence. Like both birthdays are coming in same month, and my wife's birthday also same month. So right? There are so many nice birthdays, and it's best thing like it's same days like 7, 14, 21, or like 777. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, like Boeing 777.
Yes. Okay then. Yes. Thank you
Awesome.
everyone. So see you soon with another sex show.
See you, everybody. Bye bye.